3 years ago, Priya was making solid money and had almost nothing to show for it. She was 31. She worked as a marketing manager for a logistics company in Austin. She earned close to $82,000 a year. Her savings account held $3,600. Not $36,000, not $360,000, $3,600. After 9 years in the workforce, that number was smaller than what most financial planners recommend for a single month of expenses, let alone an emergency fund. So she did something unusual. On a quiet Sunday morning, she pulled up her last 4 months of bank statements, made a pot of coffee, turned her phone to airplane mode, and read through every single transaction. Not to build a budget, not to set goals, just to actually see where the money was going. What she found didn't make her feel careless. It made her feel something else entirely. It made her feel like she'd been on autopilot, like a dozen small decisions, made once, years earlier, had just kept renewing themselves in the background, while she was busy paying attention to everything else in her life. She made a list. Then she quietly stopped 15 things on it. Not all at once, not with an announcement or a spending freeze or a post online. She just stopped. 18 months later, she'd saved $34,000. Same job, same salary, same city. Almost the same life. Here's what she stopped. Number 1, leasing a new car every 2 years. The average new vehicle lease in 2026 runs close to $550 a month, once you factor in the down payment, taxes, and fees spread across the term. A car loses roughly 20% of its value in year 1 alone. The person who leases a new model every 2 years never builds equity in anything. They're renting depreciation on a rolling contract and calling it a car payment. Priya's car is a 2020 Toyota Corolla she bought used, in cash, for $14,500. She has no plans to replace it. 10-year cost of a rolling lease versus a reliable used car driven for a decade, conservatively, $61,000. Invested instead at 8%, closer to $89,000. Number 2, subscriptions she tracked but never canceled. Studies on subscription spending consistently find the same gap. People estimate they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions. The real number, once every streaming service, app, and forgotten trial is added up, averages closer to $200 a month. Nearly a third of that spending goes towards services people haven't opened in over 90 days. Priya canceled 8 subscriptions that Sunday. She hadn't used 6 of them in over 3 months. 10-year cost of $25 a month in unused subscriptions, $3,000. Invested, $4,600. Number 3, name brand groceries. Blind taste tests conducted across major food categories, pasta, canned goods, spices, dairy, consistently show that most people can't reliably tell a store brand from a name brand. The average premium paid for brand name groceries across a full weekly shop runs 25 to 30% higher than store brand equivalents. On a household spending $700 a month on groceries, that's over $2,000 a year in premium. You're paying largely for packaging and advertising, not the product itself. 10-year cost, $25,000. Invested, $38,000. Number 4, extended warranties on everything. Extended warranties carry some of the highest profit margins in retail, often 40 to 80%, because companies only offer them when the statistical odds of a costly repair are low. If the product were actually likely to break, the warranty wouldn't be profitable to sell. The average household spends around $400 a year on protection plans across small appliances and electronics. Priya kept warranties only on purchases over $800. 10-year cost of blanket warranty spending, $4,000. Invested, $5,900. Number 5, a gym membership used twice a month. Roughly 2/3 of gym memberships go largely unused. At an average monthly cost of $55, someone visiting twice a month is effectively paying close to $28 a session, more than most boutique fitness classes charge outright. A pair of running shoes and a free workout app deliver most of the same cardiovascular benefit for a fraction of the cost. 10-year cost of an unused membership, $6,600. Invested, $10,000. Number 6. Constantly replacing a fast fashion wardrobe. The average person buys around 65 to 70 clothing items a year and keeps each one roughly half as long as they did a decade ago. Fast fashion is built around that cycle. Low prices that make each purchase feel negligible, trend turnover fast enough to make last season feel outdated, quality low enough that pieces don't survive long enough to feel worth keeping. A smaller, higher quality wardrobe replaced selectively typically costs less than half of what fast fashion cycling costs annually. 10-year saving, $11,000. Invested, $16,800. Number 7. Lottery tickets treated as entertainment. The expected return on a lottery ticket sits around 50 cents on every dollar spent. Published, verifiable math, not speculation. Framing it as comparable to a movie ticket misses the difference. A movie ticket delivers its entertainment with certainty. A lottery ticket delivers a near-guaranteed loss with a vanishingly small chance of a life-changing outcome. The average person who plays regularly spends close to $300 a year. 10-year cost, including the built-in expected loss, $3,000. Invested, $4,600. Number 8. A full cable package for content from 7 channels. The average cable bill in 2026 runs close to $115 a month for hundreds of channels most subscribers never watch. Most people regularly watch content from a handful of sources. 2 or 3 targeted streaming subscriptions, audited monthly and canceled when idle, typically replace that same content for under $40 a month. 10-year saving, $9,000. Invested, $13,700. Number 9. Expensive takeout on ordinary weeknights. There's a real difference between dining somewhere special because the experience is worth it and ordering expensive takeout on a random Tuesday because cooking feels like effort. The average household spends close to $3,400 a year on dining and delivery combined, much of it habitual convenience spending, carrying restaurant-level markup. The same meals cooked at home typically cost 60 to 70% less. Reducing habitual takeout without eliminating genuine special occasions saves the average household $1,200 to $1,500 a year. 10-year saving, $13,500. Invested, $20,600. Number 10. Standalone travel insurance duplicating card coverage. Most premium travel credit cards already include trip cancellation, baggage delay, and emergency medical coverage as a cardholder benefit. Buying a separate policy for the same trip is often paying twice for overlapping protection. Average cost of standalone coverage per trip, $170. For someone traveling 3 or 4 times a year, that's $600 or more in duplicate coverage annually. 10-year cost, $6,000. Invested, $9,100. Read your card's benefits guide before you buy a second policy. Most people never have. Number 11. Brand name medication with an identical generic sitting on the same shelf. Regulators require generic medications to match the active ingredient, dosage, and performance of their brand name equivalent. That's not marketing, it's the legal standard. The average price gap between a brand name prescription and its generic equivalent runs around 80%. For a household managing a maintenance medication, switching saves close to $1,000 a year. 10-year saving, $10,000. Invested, $15,300. Number 12. Upgrading a phone a year before the old one actually dies. A financed phone typically adds $30 to $40 a month on top of the service plan. Most people upgrade every 2 years, while most modern smartphones remain fully functional for 4 to 5. Waiting even 1 extra year per cycle saves roughly $380 in unnecessary device payments, recurring every cycle after. 10-year cost, $1,900 direct, closer to $2,900 once invested. Number 13. Bottled water in a city with safe tap water. In most major cities across the US, Canada, the UK, and Australia, Tap water is regulated at least as strictly as bottled water. A household buying bottled water regularly spends around $550 a year. A quality filter pitcher costs under $40 up front, plus roughly $50 a year in filters. 10-year saving, $4,600. Invested, $7,000. You're largely paying for the bottle and the marketing that made you nervous about the tap. Number 14. Convenience store top-ups instead of one planned weekly shop. Convenience stores mark up everyday items 50 to 100% above supermarket pricing. Someone stopping in 2 or 3 times a week for small purchases is paying premium prices on the most marked up items in the store, without any of the benefit of planning ahead. That habit typically costs $70 to $90 a month more than a planned weekly shop. 10-year cost, $9,600. Invested, $14,700. The fix isn't willpower. It's removing the occasion for the stop in the first place. Number 15. Financial advice from someone paid to sell you products. A commission-based advisor earns money specifically when you buy certain financial products, which shapes recommendations regardless of intent. The fee gap between a commission-driven, actively managed fund and a comparable low-cost index fund typically runs 1 to 1.5% annually. On a $100,000 portfolio, that gap alone can cost around $30,000 in lost growth over 20 years. A fee-only fiduciary advisor, paid a flat fee with no product commissions, exists and typically costs far less over a decade. Priya is 33 now. She has $41,000 in savings and a brokerage account she opened just over a year ago. She still earns roughly the same salary, she still lives in the same apartment, and she didn't feel deprived for a single day of the 18 months it took to save that $34,000 because none of the 15 things she stopped were things she actually missed. That's the part that surprises people most when she tells the story. Not the total, the absence of sacrifice. She didn't give up anything she valued. She gave up things she'd stopped noticing. Decisions running on autopilot rather than intention. Quietly, reliably, making someone else's balance grow instead of hers. None of these 15 things are luxuries. They're not symbols of a good life. They're the noise that accumulates when financial decisions go unreviewed for years at a time. The question was never whether Priya could afford to stop buying them. The real question, the one worth asking yourself right now, is how much longer you can afford not to look.